All right, let's get into it now. Let's start with our tier one interior defensive linemen. These are the names we are expected to hear day one, day two of the draft. Let's start with our first round tier. We've got Mason Graham out of the University of Michigan. The Bills are not going to be able to draft Mason Graham, likely to go in the top 10. My comp for him is Braden Fisk on steroids, and on steroids in a good way. Then you have Walter Nolen, Derrick Harmon, and Kenneth Grant. All three could be off the board by the time the Buffalo Bills pick at 30. All three could be potential trade up candidates for the Buffalo Bills. And one of these guys, two of these guys, could possibly be sitting on the board for the Buffalo Bills at pick number 30. Let's start with Walter Nolen out of Ole Miss, 6'4", 296 pounds. A lot of people want to compare him to Ed Oliver, but this guy has beefed up to 296 pounds. So he's close to 300 pounds. I think the Ed Oliver comp is a little not the greatest in the world. I know a bunch of people, very good people in the draft community, have made that comparison. 32-inch arms, so a little shorter there. No RAS score. He only benched at his pro day 27 reps, and he did position drills, which were, according to Jordan Reed of ESPN, outstanding. Nolen posted 72 stops while only missing 5 tackles in his college career. He also posted 67 pressures and 14 total sacks. He was 11th out of 117 players with 50% of the snaps in true pass sets win percentage as a pass rusher with 19.5%. He was also 3rd out of 132 players in run defense stop percentage at 11.9%. So he gives a little pass rush ability, gives a little rush defense ability. He's explosive off the snap with strong playmaking ability as an interior defender. He uses his power effectively to shed blockers and disrupt plays. He can handle double teams and penetrate into the backfield. He shows great body control, balance, and effort to keep plays alive. He's got 3 down potential due to his ability to pressure the pocket. Some of the areas where he struggles, his hand placement and extension at the point of attack, and he needs to refine his pass rush moves and his first phase approach. You will not find a guy in this draft who plays harder than Walter Nolen. This guy is an absolute dog. There are some character concerns. I have not been able to uncover the specifics of that. That is why a lot of people think that maybe he will be sitting around the board at pick number 30, but he is an instant impact run defender in the National Football League with pass rush upside. All of the negatives that I just mentioned are coachable things, not physical deficiencies. He is my number one want in terms of defensive tackles. I don't know if he's your number one want, but I'm really big on Walter Nolen. And John Roberts says, how much does he weigh? 296 pounds at 6'4".
Yeah, 296, came in just under 6'4" at the combine. Look, he's near the top of the list for me as well. I think so. PFF has him as their 19th rated overall prospect. So, he's clearly a first round talent. The question, like you said, will be what are some of those character concerns that are a little bit murky? Like, the team's likely done their due diligence on him, so we'll see if that really impacts him on draft day. Of draft eligible IDL, he had the second best run defense grade of all interior defensive linemen in 2024 for PFF, and he's only 21 years old, so let's keep that in mind too. He's a younger prospect as well. That Ole Miss defense, along with Jared Ivey and Trey Amos and all these other guys we're going to talk about as well later, JJ Pegues as well, we'll talk about later. That Ole Miss defense, Princely. That defense was loaded, and Walter Nolen right at the top of the list for the reasons why that defense was so good. So, yeah, if he's sitting on the board there at 30, or even into the late 20s, the Bills may consider a potential slight move up to get a guy like Walter Nolen.
And all three of these guys that we're about to talk about, I think, are trade-up candidates, are guys that if they're on the board at 30, they're 100% squarely in play, like run up to the board. The next guy here is Derrick Harmon. I know big fans here at Cover One. Eric Turner's a big fan. Greg Tomsett's a big fan. 6'4", 313 pounds, 34+ inch arms, which is pretty impressive. No RAS for Derrick Harmon, but he did run a 4.95 40, and it was a 1.74 10-yard split. So he's under that 1.75 threshold that you like to see for an interior defender. Most pressures by a defensive tackle in college football with 55 last season. He was second in pressure rate by a defensive tackle with 10.7%. He had 5 sacks, 10 tackles for losses. His spider chart when you look at his physical attributes, his wingspan, his height, his weight, all of the testing numbers that he did put up, the two closest athletic comps to Derrick Harmon were Christian Barmore and Leonard Williams. I thought that was really impressive and really intriguing of a thing for Derrick Harmon. He's got impressive size, length, arm strength, makes him very difficult to move. He's versatile enough to play multiple positions across the defensive line. He's powerful. He's got a quick punch, helps him control blockers effectively. He disrupts plays by shedding blocks and clogging lanes for runners, and he can generate push as a pass rusher, creating pressure within the unit. Some negatives for Derrick Harmon. He struggles with finishing plays despite gaining an initial advantage. He's got some inconsistent footwork and pad level, which leads to missed tackles and stalled rushes. I know missed tackle percentage for Derrick Harmon is a concern. He is quite literally, though, Dave, all the buzzwords. He's twitchy, he's active, he's athletic, he's got long arms, he's got heavy hands. He creates so much havoc as a pass rusher with his interior penetration. He needs to work on finishing plays. As I mentioned, he's got an alarming missed tackle rate. He can be a better run defender, but he's still a solid run defender. All things that, again, are super coachable. Derrick Harmon is right there with Walter Nolen and Kenneth Grant to me as one of the must-haves for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and someone said in the comments, Nolen, Grant, or Harmon, pick one.
You can't go
easy,
wrong.
Be done. And so, like, Harmon's right there for me. With Grant and with Nolen, I mean, the tier there is a great one. I do think Harmon's a stud. Really watching those film cut-ups that Eric and Anthony did on Derrick Harmon really sold me even more on him, and I liked him even before that. 43 hurries per PFF in 2024, led all draft eligible interior defensive linemen. I know he's a popular player with Bills Mafia right now, showcasing strength at the point of the attack, ability to be disruptive in the run game and the pass game. Third best pass rush grade as well in 2024 of draft eligible interior D line with at least 300 defensive snaps. So he is a complete player. The missed tackle rate, yes, there's some concerns about that, but at 6'4", 313, the size a little bit beefier than a guy like Nolen. And it's right in that range, right? We're kind of where the Bills you would think maybe would like to have the best of both worlds from both a pass rush pop perspective from the interior and the ability to stop the run in Derrick Harmon. And so I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
And then you have Kenneth Grant out of the University of Michigan. And when you talk about beef, this guy is the one that brings the beef. 6'3", 331 pounds at the combine. It was reported that he was playing in the 340s at Michigan last year. 33.5-inch arms. He had a 7.12 RAS, a 1.72 10-yard split, so he meets that threshold there. He had the 9th most defensive stops, 22, and the 8th most pressures, 27, among IDLs in the Big Ten last season. Jim Harbaugh called him when he was at Michigan, God's gift to football, because this guy has alien size and athleticism, powerful and broad-bodied, makes him a force in the A-gaps. He's versatile enough to play in both odd and even fronts. Strong hands and length allow him to control blockers and shed effectively. Shows flashes of pass rush potential with a solid bull rush and counter moves. Stout run defender. He can absorb double teams and keep the linebackers clean, which is something I think you like to hear, knowing that you have a guy like Terrell Bernard that you just paid a lot of money to. Some of the negatives on Kenneth Grant: lacks consistent explosiveness and quickness in his first step, can struggle with lateral blocks, needs better hand placement for rush refinement, and needs to maintain an optimal weight to maximize his 3-down impact. You see the vision with Kenneth Grant. He has the ceiling to be the best defensive tackle in this class, ahead of the guy who he played next to at Michigan, Mason Graham, 2 to 3 years down the line, if it all comes together. His ability to anchor and reset the line of scrimmage makes him an asset in run defense from day one. And while he flashes that pass rush ability, he still does need to develop that a little bit more. But with the right coaching and the right conditioning, he can evolve into a dominant interior presence capable of disrupting both the run and the pass game. And that's what every Bills fan has been clamoring for. Go find us our Chris Jones. Go find us our Jeffrey Simmons. This is the guy with the ceiling to be that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he's one of few guys who was rated in the top 10 as both a run defender and pass rush grade from interior defensive line for PFF in 2024. So, there is some work to be done as a pass rusher, but graded out decently well doing that. I think the one thing you wonder about Kenneth Grant is he is slightly outside of the range or the archetype, I'll say, of what the Bills have gone after right at this position. This would be something a little bit out of the norm for them. Not saying that's something that people don't want, because there's a large contingency that want this type of player, and talk about Tyleek Williams and Alfred Collins a bit later, but like that type of player, the Bills haven't really gone after in the past, especially in the draft. So this would be a little bit out of the norm. And I personally put Grant right below the other two guys, just because I think those other two guys are more complete 3-down players, whereas I do see Grant more as a 2-down player. That's not to say he couldn't be a true 3-down player, but I have him just ranked slightly below those other two guys.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more projection with the Kenneth Grant than there are the other two guys. Nikki G comes in and says, all I'm picturing is Heifer for Rocko's Modern Life while Judge was spitting his attributes. I don't actually, it's been so long since I've seen Rocko's Modern Life. I don't know if that is a compliment or an insult, but thank you.
Heifer, yeah, Heifer was this giant steer, this big fat steer.
So he's thinking about Kenneth Grant.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I got it now. All right. Wasn't an insult to me. I got it. Nikki G, you're back on my good list.